Devin Haney, the dream, is gearing up for the biggest and most dangerous fight of his career as he's facing off against the WBO welterweight champion of the world, the assassin, the killer from the south, the young hungry lion, champion Brian Norman Jr. And what is Devin Haney doing right now? Not only is he preparing for the biggest fight of his life, but he's preparing by swimming with the sharks. The same way that he always does it. I mean, if you actually think about it. First off, his sparring partners for this camp, they have been revealed. And he will be reportedly bringing in Ernesto Mercado, a 140-pound contender on the rise, who has knocked out every single opponent except one. I believe 16 wins by knockout out of 17 wins. And he's also bringing in one of the most dangerous and rising welterweights on the planet, the pride of the Dominican Republic, Rohan Polanco. The man just fought actually this past weekend on ESPN, on Top Rank's final card on ESPN. And the man looked good. I mean, what's the rumor when it comes to Ernesto Mercado and Polanco? They're both punchers. Not only are they both punchers, but they're both young and aggressive. And you know who's a puncher and who's young and who's aggressive? Devin Haney's next opponent, the champion, Brian Norman Jr. And this actually tells us a lot about the mind state and the mind frame of Devin Haney currently. Let's be honest, many people doubted Devin Haney after that Ryan fight, and especially they doubted him even more after his last fight versus Jose Ramirez, and I was there. I was there when he fought Ramirez. I was front and center in Times Square, and yes, I have been watching Devin Haney for the longest time. And I've never really seen him that tentative and that gun-shy. But we gotta take into consideration what the man was coming back from. The man was coming back from the mother of all adversities. I mean, you name it. The man's been through the absolute gauntlet after his fight versus Ryan Garcia from April to May the following year. So you're talking about 13 months of complete chaos and adversity. But the man was forged in that fire and he came out. Some people say that he came out not the same, but I believe he came out better. But it's just going to take him a bit longer to get back to his old self. And not only do I believe that he's going to get back to his old self versus Brian Norman Jr., but I believe he's going to come back better than ever. Not just because of his skill set or because of his mindset, but most importantly, because of his faith. The man is a devout Muslim. The man truly believes that our Creator, God, is in control of everything. And He's doing all the work necessary. And He's putting all His trust in our Creator. Now, if you actually think about it, I don't know if you guys know this, but in preparation for Jose Ramirez, Devin Haney actually contacted Team Brian Norman Jr. And he wanted to bring in Brian Norman as a sparring partner for the Ramirez fight. Now, some might say that he wanted to do that because he wanted to test the waters. He wanted to taste that power of Brian Norman before stepping up to him. And some might say that the man just wants to challenge himself. But Brian Norman declined. Why? Because the man was thinking a few steps ahead. He was like, with all due respect, listen, Devin Haney is a bad boy. I respect the fact that he wants to spar me. But I think I'm going to fight him pretty soon. And my goodness, was he right. Devin Haney wanted to spar him in April of 2025. And now they are fighting in November of 2025. So you're talking about just a few months after Devin Haney contacted him for sparring. This is a full circle moment, I believe, and this is going to be one of the greatest fights of our era when Devin Haney, the dream, steps up to welterweight for the first time in his career. His first fight at 147, He's stepping up to, in my opinion, without a question, the best welterweight on the planet currently. Now, Devin Haney looks to prove that not only was he the best 135er on the planet, and not only was he the best 40-pounder on the planet, but now he looks to prove that he is the best 147 on the planet. And I believe that the Ring Magazine belt should be on the line for this fight. Let's see what happens. I truly hope that His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh will make this fight for the lineal Ring Magazine belt at 147, because let's be honest, Jerome Boots Ennis vacated all his belts and the man moved to 154. Now some might say that he was weight drained, and I believe that he was weight drained. But some might say that he didn't want to fight these young killers while being compromised with the weight cut. And I get it. I truly get it. I mean, Jerome Ennis is also an absolute killer when you talk about these young, hungry lions in the sport. So, what can we expect from this unbelievable fight? I mean, with Devin Haney's preparation, the man is going to come and bring his A game. The man is going to come more ready than ever, and he's going to come confident, fully prepared. But on the other hand, what's going on with Brian Norman Jr.? We have been seeing Devin Haney now slowly stepping up his training, gearing up for the biggest fight of his life, while Brian Norman is on holiday still, I believe. So, is Brian Norman actually underestimating Devin Haney? I don't believe so. I don't believe that for 1 second. But I believe the sooner that Brian starts his training camp, the better it's going to be for him. Because listen, I know that everyone, the entire world, they're saying that Devin Haney can't punch. Devin Haney is shot. Devin Haney is finished. Devin is this. Devin is too small for Brian. But we gotta also understand that history is our horoscope. We've seen this throughout history. When the smaller man moves up in weight, gradually goes through weight division after weight division and finds success. Like De La Hoya, like Pacquiao, like I can tell you a million different scenarios of fighters who were doubted throughout their entire career, but they kept defying the odds and they kept moving up in weight. And Devin Haney is doing just that. All respect in the world for two of my favorite fighters. I mean, Devin Haney has been my favorite fighter for the longest because we're around the same age. He is my Muslim brother, so I will always be rooting for the man, to be honest. I can't lie. But I also can't lie when I say that, my goodness, Brian Norman, the man has that southern swag. The man is an absolute killer. The man is an absolute dog. There's a certain type of confidence about the man. The man seems so cerebral at such a young age. I mean, the man became a world champion at 23 years old. So, but let's also not forget, Devin Haney became the youngest ever undisputed champion a few years ago when he was 23 years old also. So listen, both men are the elite of the elite. It does not get better than this. The levels don't get any higher than this. And we are so lucky to witness this fight. And God willing, I will be front row watching this unbelievable matchup. And I cannot wait for it.